Hello, this is Dr. JoAnn Manson, professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School and Brigham and Women's Hospital. I'd like to talk with you about a recent interesting article in the journal Nature Aging that addresses the question of whether the major strides in life expectancy seen in the 1900s, the 20th century, can be expected to continue into the current century, the 21st century. Now, as we all know, there have been dramatic improvements in life expectancy in the 1900s. At the turn of that century, the average or median life expectancy at birth was only about 50 years. And over the course of the century, there was about a 30-year increase in life expectancy. On average, there was a gain of about 3 years in lifespan for every 10 years of the decade. And this was due to a combination of several factors: improvements in public health and medicine, dramatic declines in deaths in infancy, childhood, deaths from life-threatening infections, improvements in prevention and treatment of chronic diseases. Now, what the authors wanted to do was to look at the last 30 years in developed countries and see if similar trends toward improved life expectancy are present. And they used national vital statistics and survivorship data from the eight highly developed countries with the longest living populations in Europe, Asia, and Australia. They added the United States and Hong Kong. And they looked at the data from 1990 through 2019. They excluded 2020 to avoid any influence from the COVID pandemic. And what they found was that we're nowhere near as great gains in life expectancy over those 30 years. In fact, they found overall a deceleration of the gain in life expectancy over that period. And so it was relatively stable and only very modest gains over that approximately 30-year period. Now, currently, about 2% of males and 5% of females in developed countries live past age 100. And they projected that only about 5% of males and 15% of females are likely to live past age 100 by the end of this century, unless there's increased attention to the underlying biology of aging and interventions that are directly related to that human biology of aging. And we know that there are multiple mechanisms involved in aging. These include the DNA methylation, epigenetic aging, inflammation, the accumulation of senescent cells, and changes in mitochondrial function. And certain interventions have been looked very promising, such as GLP-1s, metformin, rapamycin, polyphenols, and others. However, they're projecting that with the current approach, without attention to the underlying biology of aging and interventions that are directly addressing those pathways, that even in 15 years, average lifespan in developed countries for men, maybe only about 86 years. In women, maybe a little over 90 years, but still nowhere near what had been previously projected as half of the population, with current birth cohorts reaching the age of 100. So in some ways, this is a call to action for to prioritize research, rigorous research on the underlying biology of aging, the aging process, and testing rigorously interventions that may be of benefit, in addition to continuing the research on prevention and treatment of chronic diseases and other medical issues that are so important. Thank you so much for your attention. This is JoAnn Manson.